What's up, Drift Geeks? The time has finally come to switch over to E, and for that we're partnered up with EFlexFuel. We did an Instagram post, so you guys already probably know, but today we're here with the main man himself. He's going to introduce himself, introduce the product, and help us out with the install.
What is up, guys? Yasvin at EFlexFuel here, and today we got this beautiful Z here in my garage, and I'm so excited to flex this. You guys don't even know, the gains on this engine are magnificent. So we're going to show you guys how to do this step by step, so you guys can do it at your own place. A couple of hours, couple of buddies in no time.
Alright, so here we have the whole kit unboxed to show you guys what each component does. Yasmin's going to give us a little bit of a walkthrough to it.
Pretty simple. We have our main control unit right here. We have our harness, which is a piggyback to your fuel injectors, ethanol sensor connection, and an ambient temperature sensor that just lays in the block or close to the engine. Also comes with a ground. That's it as far as the wiring. And we have fuel line connectors and adapters, some fuel line. And with this you should be able to add the original Continental sensor into your fuel line that eventually will just tell this what's going on, and then it all works. Last but not least, we have a bypass module, which basically, if you want to diagnose if something's wrong with the unit, or you didn't finish your install, or you didn't do it properly, basically you got it backwards, we'll talk a little bit more about that later, then you plug the bypass, and basically it's like if nothing was ever there, and then you could drive your car even if you wired it in backwards. That's so cool. It's mostly a diagnostic tool. Couple connectors here that you are gonna build. Basically, cars, even though they're the same makes, they may be different position where it goes, so we just test for polarity and then pretty much click it in there. That's it. Besides that, a couple stickers and some instructions, of course.
Cool. Pretty easy. Let's dive into it. Alright, so what's the first thing we gotta do to access everything that we need to do here?
So basically, you're gonna want to get into your fuel injectors, and you're going to want to get into your fuel line. So in this case, this is a V6. Most V6s, you do need to remove the intake manifold to access the other 3 cylinders. So we'll remove the strut brace, cover, intake manifold, and hopefully just are able to, you know, sneak it in there. We don't have to remove the whole thing, just pop it up. And then I heard our fuel line on these is on this side, so we'll remove this still in intake, get to the fuel line back there, and we'll show you guys a little bit better once we're in there what it looks like. But that is the goal right now.
Alright, so we just took the brace off. That was a pretty simple. You got 3 14s on each side, and then you do have 2 14s all the way in the back. You can just pull this back a little bit, it kind of snaps right out. It's pretty easy to get to, and then you'll get to these 2 bolts right here. That frees up that. The brace will just come right off. We put that to the side. We put the engine covers out. Those were all just 10 bolts. Threw that on top. Now we're going to continue disassembling everything. So
we'll pretty much start removing the intakes to the side here, and then unclip any vacuum hoses, keep them to the side, and then the bolts that go, the ones that are in the back, and then the bolts that go here. That way we free up this intake manifold and we can lift it up. That's the next goal.
So we started off by disconnecting the cold air intakes. Shout out to Stellan for these amazing intakes. So we got all the bolts off on top right here for the intake manifold. Don't forget about the one in the front and the one all the way back here. From there, we removed the vacuum line that went to here, the vacuum line that went to here and here, and disconnected the VVEL system, which is this giant solenoid back here. And then from there, I just took this off instead of taking the whole 10 off. And what else did we do? And that's it. Oh, and we disconnected the vacuum line back here. Then we now we're getting rid of the throttle bodies, taking those Allen bolts out of there.
4 bolts on each one, and then throttle body should pop out, and then this should be able to,
it's already sliding out, so that's the only thing holding them down. And don't forget to disconnect your throttle bodies. Well, actually, you don't need to if now we're taking them off.
Correct.
But yeah,
cool.
Pretty easy so far.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, let's keep going. All right, progress report. The intake manifold, we kind of moved it out of the way after we finished disconnecting the throttle bodies. Like that, we're not tapping into these coolant lines. I already made a boo-boo. I thought that was a regular vacuum line, did not follow it through all the way. That is the coolant line. You don't have to disconnect it. You can leave all that on there. There's like a little bracket that holds the lines together. You can just lift the manifold, finagle the lines a little bit out of the way that are connected to the throttle body, and you can just prop the intake manifold like that, and that'll give you access to the injectors that we're gonna need to tap into. And from there, Justin's gonna take it away.
That's it. So we are gonna cover the intake just so we don't drop anything in there. Always play safe. And yep, our next step is to access our fuel injectors and disconnect them. So they're down here. Let's see, we may need to remove this for a little bit of access. So I'm gonna grab a little pick, push these down, they look like, slide them out, and then access the injectors and pull it out.
Let's see, let's do this real time.
Yeah, go ahead. Or let me grab a flathead for you.
That's it. One hand holding the camera, the other doing the thing.
Want to use the glasses?
The meta glasses? I don't know. So you guys should drop a comment if I should get meta glasses to record this better. You guys been serious running a promotion for them or something, because he's trying to sell them to me. But they're pretty cool.
I'm just saying, man, they're very useful.
Yeah.
Very useful.
Freeze my hands.
It does. So
Okay.
we got a little bit more access there. Let's see. Now that's pretty much our harness.
Yep.
And then there must be a clip here. I don't want to tug, but there has to be some kind of clip holding
I think
it.
it's this one right here.
Yep, that's the one. So let's see. Do you mind pushing that down? Just push the whole thing down as I squeeze. There you go. There we go.
Yep, got it out.
Got it out. Cool. Now let's do this side.
That'll free it up.
We are going to move our prop over just a bit.
All right, we'll put the camera down and come back to it with the harness released. All right, so we went in there, disconnected all the injector plugs, pulled the wiring harness a little bit out of the way so we can get into those injectors on both sides. We were thinking we might have needed to either loosen up or remove the fuel rail, but we actually ended up figuring out a way to finagle them out of there without feeling like they were gonna break, crack, or get damaged in any way. And I guess from this point on, this is the part where I felt I couldn't get past because I am no electrical genius or guru. That's where his expertise is gonna come into play.
Oh, me? Sure. All we need is a multimeter. Anybody could get a multimeter.
No.
And then you just, oh, don't drop it. Just gotta put it on continuity, like so. And then usually hit the function a couple times. It depends which meter you have, but as long as you have your multimeter on continuity, watch. We're gonna do it right now, right here, live. Can you hold this for me?
Oh, hold the light. I'm good at that.
Perfect. Awesome. So, continuity. Okay. Get both of your female injector connectors. So basically we have 3 on this side, 3 on that side. It doesn't matter which 3 or 2. In this case, we're gonna get these 2 here. We're gonna face them in the same direction. So you're looking at them, and both of the locking clips are at the top, right? So now we're gonna basically probe both of, in this case, I'm gonna start with on the left side. So we'll probe both of the lefts until we see if we hear a beeping. It's a little hard to do. Bear with me. No beep. All right, now we probe both of the ones on the right. There it is. So that's where we have continuity.
So that's our power?
Well, not necessarily.
Okay, explain it to me.
We're not really testing for power. So don't go in here with a test light looking for voltage. Just like the instructions say, go in here looking for continuity. So that's it, you found continuity. Now, after finding continuity, what I like to do is I'll get one of my clips like this that comes in the kit, right? And then we put it in place, and I know that my red wire is gonna go where the beep was happening, which is on this side.
On the right side. And that's not the case for every single vehicle, right?
It's not. It changes. Some is left, some is on the right. So just because,
don't skip this step.
No, just because this one was this way doesn't mean that that's the way it is on yours. Things do change. So do the continuity test. This is basically what we're gonna do. We're gonna end up putting the red on that side, and there is a top and bottom of how it goes, so you'll feel it going nice and smooth, and then you'll hear it kind of click in place. You heard that?
Yeah, I heard that click.
Perfect.
A little closer so we can hear that click on the next one.
All right. So remember, there's a up and a down. So if you put it down and it ain't locking, you could always look through to make sure that it's going in the right way. So in this case, I already know it's this way. And then
there it is.
There it is. That was a click. So now it's in place. It's locked in. You could always get needle nose to kind of tug in on this side a little bit. Make sure it locks in. Very, very important, because if it doesn't lock in as you're plugging it in, this may back out. Now you got a misfire. So very, very important to make sure it's locked in. And basically this is our sample. Now we know, you see how this is wired where the red is on this side? You're not getting confused, because once you do it out here, now you could either be looking at it this way, or you look at it this way, or you got it upside down, and you kind of make mistakes. Yeah. So the fact that I just built it right here, it confirms everything for me. Now what I want to do is I want to build the rest of my harness in the same position. So I already have a sample. Red is going to be on the right side, looking at it in this direction. Now just build the rest of them in the exact same way. Cool. And that's the shortcut.
Easy.
Easy. So we can do this back out here. We're done with the multimeter. That's it. That was the hardest part.
All right. That's it.
That was it. So now basically, yeah, we'll just go in here.
Build the rest of the harness?
Yep, build the rest of the harness. Like I said, you have a sample there. I can memorize it, so I already know I'm looking at it in this direction. So locking clips
red on
there.
the right for us.
Yep, and red as well, exactly on the right.
Yeah. And again, that might not be the case for your car, guys, so make sure you are definitely doing the step and checking your polarity.
Yeah, exactly, because it does suck to have to go in there and take off that manifold again because you got it backwards. So yeah, just take the extra 5 minutes to do the test and make sure it's done right, and this will save you a lot of trouble. Another note, since we're already here, this specific one, which is the one with red heat shrink, is your #1 cylinder and is the one that gives the main unit power. So whatever you do, make sure you use this one. If you don't use this one and you just use extensions, I have had customers call me and say, hey, I'm not getting any power, my app's not turning on. They plugged in the extensions and they only use the extensions. It was like a Honda, like a 4-cylinder. So they only use the extensions because it was longer or they liked the way it looked, and they didn't use these. Well, the app will never come on. It doesn't get power. The power comes from this one, which is on the main harness, and it's your #1 cylinder. Also, while we're here, I'm gonna explain something to you guys. If you look at the harness in this way, you see these wires? This is for your AFR gauge. You don't have one, you don't need to plug it in, no worries. Right here we have a couple more, which is like ground, ambient temperature sensor, ethanol sensor, right? Okay, so ignore all of these. You're basically starting at the yellow, color of the rainbow. So yellow is gonna be your cylinder #1, green is #2, blue is #3, purple #4, and then on the extensions, yellow #5, green #6, blue #7, purple #8. If you wire it in that way and you match your engine, if you do wire one in backwards or you have a misfire on one and you're looking at your app and #3 on your app is not firing and you wired it incorrectly, that means that basically #3 would be the blue one on the first section. You would know exactly where to go look because you know where you made the mistake, cylinder #3. If you just put them in any order, it'll still work, no problem, but it's not accurate. If you do have a misfire on that cylinder and it's not wired to that cylinder, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess. So if you can, wire it in this way. And this is the color of the rainbow. So again, just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That easy.
Cool. Alright,
All right, we're gonna have him build his own harness a bit.
I am still scared, but if the orientation, remember correctly, it was this way. Red goes this way. There is an orientation for this, up or down. And you want to hear for that audible click. There we go. Next one.
And if it's a little hard to push,
There
like
it
I
is.
said,
Yeah, you just gotta grab a little bit in there. That's pretty
Always,
easy.
you could just get little needle nose.
Yeah, that's actually not bad at all, man. Grab this, orientation. And, oh, almost put it in backwards. Heard that click. And then, there it is. Cool.
Nice.
Is
So
that
we got
all?
like 3 down so far.
We got
We
more
got
to
another
do.
3 to go,
Yeah.
and we're almost done building the harness.
Cool. This is easy. This is the most part that this is literally the part that I was scared of.
Okay. Well,
So
you
we gotta
already got
do
that part down. So basically, since we have a 6-cylinder, we're gonna use 2 of the extensions, which will be the next 2. So what you can do is just remove that plug.
How do you remove this
There's a
plug?
little rubber plug there.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's it.
And then will that go into
So then
here?
you go to your box, and it does come with the extensions here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So you could go ahead and pull them out of there. And those are all the same color, so none of that matters. You can pick any of those 2. The color changes will just be here on this.
Just grab one of these.
Yep. There you go.
Okay,
That
cool.
part goes into here.
So this will go directly into here.
Yep.
Okay,
Bada
that's
boom,
in.
bada boom.
Grab one of these again.
Yep.
This way. Where's my red? There you is. There's
Nice.
the click. There it
Nice.
is. Cool.
One more.
One more harness to go. It's pretty cool. So again, this will go to the next one, which is green.
Mm-hmm.
Move that out of the way. Clip it. That one did give a click.
Mm-hmm.
Grab another one of these. Make sure they're in the correct orientation again for us. Red goes on the right. The rest goes on the left. Sweet. And our harness is now complete, I guess, right?
Yep. Basically,
With the
we have a
extensions.
ready to go harness.
So now we need a...
Basically, I like to pick up the harness in this orientation, and then we want to kind of place it where we think it's going to live. So we're going to put the control unit there, then we're going to start kind of routing it in that direction.
So luckily for the 370Zs, the best place to put it is in here. We have a nice little pocket by the battery. It's like a nice little empty cavity. Oh, right here. You can bring the camera over here.
Sure.
Check it out.
Let me get a little lighting for you guys.
Yeah. So, this clip goes off, but in here, there's a nice little cavity that can live in right there.
Perfect.
And we'll just run it.
So basically, yeah, just kind of set it where it's gonna live, and then we'll start routing our harness the cleanest way possible,
Okay.
how we want it to live.
So, this way.
Nice.
Put that there. Make it look clean.
You eventually still move things around, so we'll just kind of start, but I'm sure we'll eventually kind of like, oh wait, we're gonna go under, or oh, we'll go over,
Yeah,
just
I'll
to make
leave
it
that
cleaner.
clip off for
Yeah,
now.
just leave that clip off,
Cool.
and then
We'll start feeding that in there.
yeah, we'll start feeding this in. Maybe for right now, pull off this one out of the way, which is your ethanol sensor connector, and your ambient temperature sensor, and your ground.
Okay.
So just kind of leave those there. Let's just get just the injectors and route them in that way.
Easy. Ethanol sensor.
And dude, you should be able to be running E85 in no time.
Sweet. You're really starting to see more E85 stations out there now, huh?
A lot more. I don't
Yeah.
know if you noticed, but even like 76 They're updating all their stations, and all the handles have a E85 pump
Shell
on
too.
them. Yep.
Shell. There's a Shell right by my house, and I got E85, and it's like at $2 or something.
It's cheap, bro.
Yeah, okay, so we have
Chevron. So there's apps too. And you know what? One of the most beautiful things is that people still may not know is that you are not committed to just E85.
That's why it's called EFlexFuel.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's a full self-tuning module that if you don't have E85 near you, you're at the track, or you're just on a road trip and there's no E85, then hey, you pump 91 or 87, whatever you want. And you don't have to do any switching, you don't have to do any maps, nothing. You literally just pump and go, pump and go.
Yeah. That's also good because of that. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm learning more about E85 here. But when you store your car, I hear that it can be very corrosive, or it's a little bit harder to start. Like for me, for example, I'm going to deploy in a few months. I can switch everything back to just regular gas, and while it sits, it's going to be completely fine. And then when I come back,
run E85 again.
Run E85 again, and then I'm good to go.
Yep.
So for storage-wise, that's dope.
It's dope. And like I said, it's just convenient because you can actually drive anywhere without having to worry about not having ethanol around.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yep. All right. So we'll start kind of routing the harness that way. We're gonna get our hands in there and we'll show you guys what it looks like after this.
All right, so I had to remove the intake on this side so you guys can actually see and get a good shot here. So this bracket right here along this wall, see 2 bolts right there, that's gonna need to come off. Yeah, another way to find that bracket is if you follow your fuel pressure regulator line for that fuel, you'll follow it and it can actually connect to that bracket. That is where that disconnect will be, where the ethanol sensor will connect to. So right now I'm gonna go ahead and take off those 2, looks like 12s. I'm gonna get in there, get those off, the bracket will come off, and that should show us where that fuel disconnect is going to be.
All right, cool. So it looks like he pretty much got that bolt off. And
so it's actually 2 bolts. So there's 2 bolts for this bracket. Took the bolts out already, took this out. There's one more 10 in there. You don't gotta take that off. That's kind of like holding the fuel line down, anchoring it down. So leave that there. But once you remove this bracket out of the way, you can clearly see that fuel quick disconnect is gonna be right there and exposed for you. It's gonna be that green little plastic cover there.
Yep, we see that.
And that's where we're gonna need to get into to, I guess, put in the EFlex sensor, right?
Yep, so you'll disconnect there. That's the safety connector. Then there's a quick release, so you'll unplug that line. And then we'll build our connection and add our ethanol sensor in between that line that you just opened. So we won't remove anything. We're just gonna add our sensor with the connections that come in the kit and some hoses. So
also, before you remove the bracket out of the way, there is a little clip attached to this little hole. I just got some needle nose pliers, squeezed them, pushed it out of the way, and then you're able to easily get this bracket out.
Nice.
So it's not that bad, honestly. Once you remove the intakes, you have full access to everything. We tried using an electric wrench, a little bit too fat. This was the easiest way to do it. It's got a thin wrench. You can clearly see I can stick my whole hand in there. Got in there, loosened it up enough where I can just use my fingers, and the rest is gone.
And it looks like a crazy mess, but in reality it's just intake, throttle bodies, vacuum lines, couple connectors, and then now we're getting to the fuel line.
We're cruising.
So we're cruising. I mean, literally halfway there, honestly.
Yeah.
So next step, go ahead and remove that safety connector.
I have no idea how to do that, but let's try it.
It'll slide out to the side normally.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And then once it slides off,
It did. I just pushed it right out, and it slid right out.
now you gotta squeeze those blue tabs at the bottom, and you're gonna get some squirt. So make sure engine's cold and you're ready for this fuel. Watch your eyes, may squirt a little bit. A good tip, honestly.
Oh, I see them now.
If you want to relieve pressure, is open your fuel tank cap. So that will help to relieve some fuel pressure.
Let's go do that.
So let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, fuel cap released.
There we go. That's gonna help. And now we're gonna be able to put a E85 sticker there.
I thought about doing that.
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah. Helps.
All right, so those blue tabs, you said they're at the bottom.
Yep, they're at the bottom.
I'm
Squeeze them
squeezing.
and then pull up. and you should be able to disconnect that line.
Okay, a little bit harder. Just because I'm left-handed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, squeeze both at the same time, and then pull up.
There we go.
I see it. I see it from here. You got it.
A little bit of fuel's coming out.
Okay, there it is. That easy.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh,
so you
cool.
got it open.
What does that line tap into? All this, right?
Yeah, so
The
we're
fuel
not going to
pressure
remove anything. We're going to leave that there. We're just going to add our sensor with connectors in between those two lines.
Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
I was wondering how that one worked.
Yep.
Okay, easy.
Easy. So now we'll come over here. Oh, we're running out of light. We're basically going to grab our sensor, and then it looks like it's gonna just kind of sit like this in the firewall. So go ahead and remove these connectors. Well, basically those are just plugs because it's brand new. Yeah. And then this is 789, which this should go in there. Go ahead, click that in there. Beautiful.
There it is.
Here's another one. Click that one in there.
Does it matter which orientation they're in?
No.
Okay.
If that one's not it, that may be for the other fuel line. Nope, that's not it either. This is the bigger one. Here we go. Awesome.
Clippy clips. You heard the clicks.
That's it. Yep. So it's kind of sit there in the engine bay, kind of like this, right?
Yeah.
So now we're gonna need fuel line here, and a clamp. So that's where this comes in.
Oh.
And then we'll figure out what goes next. So basically, one of these will be going in there. This one's gonna go at the top, and then one of these will go at the bottom and click into basically the one that looks like this.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
So we'll use a little piece of hose, some clamps, and these guys right here to build our connections, and we'll go in there and pop it in. So, tell me what you have to do there.
All right. So the same little blue clips that you had to squeeze to disconnect the quick disconnect, you're gonna want to take that off. So once I kind of like squeezed it and spanned it around, and honestly just came out pretty easily. It's super malleable. And after that, you're gonna get a female connector, I think, right?
So basically, yeah, you get one of these.
You get one of these bad boys, and you go into that same line where that blue connector was, and you're gonna hear an audible click.
Right there.
Okay, so from there, from the way Yasmin was explaining it to me, we're gonna connect the hose to that, make a little tiny hose that's gonna connect to this, if I'm correct. And then from there, we're gonna create another hose that's gonna connect to the other side of the flex fuel sensor to the other line that's connected to the fuel pressure regulator.
Trying to get you guys a good shot. Hang in there.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a tight fit, but that's kind of a good shot right there.
Yep.
So you can see everything.
There it is. Now we're gonna pretty much go rubber hose with clamp, and then it's gonna plug into that, and the opposite on the other side. We do have a melt to melt, so we'll show you guys that in a bit. Let's go ahead and set it up outside, and then we'll show you what it looks like at the end. All right, cool. So a very good tip is to use lubricant. Silk Glide is my personal choice, but you know, if you don't have any of this, you could always just pull your dipstick out, get a little bit of engine oil. You want to lubricate this O-ring so it doesn't roll out of place or get pinched, and it slides in easy. You guys should know all about that. So put that away. Don't forget to put your hose clamp in first, and then slide that sucker in, and then you could just basically tie this down, and you already got a connection there. Then we're gonna see how long we need it. We're gonna cut it, and then we're gonna do the same thing, a hose, and then either use another female connector, or in this case on the top we're gonna use a male to male, which looks like this. So we're gonna put this in here with some hose, and then this will clip onto the factory line there, and the other side will clip onto the factory line there. That's it.
Nice. The whole kit really provides with everything that you need.
Everything. I get calls, hey, it didn't fit right, or it was loose, leaking in the back. A lot of Dodge guys. Well, sorry to tell you, but it's because you're disconnecting at the firewall at the wrong place. To be honest with you, if you do follow the instructions, it shouldn't happen that way. You'll disconnect at the fuel route, and if we send you the kit, it's for your car. You shouldn't need to buy any extra parts. Everything comes here. Maybe a clip, because sometimes those break, like the little locking clips on the fuel lines, Jeeps, you know, I don't want to say anything, but those get dry and brittle, so those do break. So maybe that, but besides that, everything that you need comes in the kit. So Cool. Let's do that. So we've gone ahead and looped it to itself, and then we're gonna make our cuts right about here.
About an inch, 2 out.
About, we basically, the less rubber, the less chances of it getting pinched or cut anywhere. So it does, the hard plastic ends here. We want a little bit of flex, and then we want another about inch for that. So we're really just gonna cut about 3 inches out, and then I'm just gonna use a blade because everybody has a blade, and just try to do this as straight as possible so you have a nice cut. If you have fuel line cutters, those are even better, but if you don't, blade works just fine.
When you're doing on one side, you do exactly to the other side?
Pretty much, yeah. And then again with the lube and our connector, which we're gonna go with a straight on the top. Is that what we decided?
Yeah.
No, actually, I think it was this one, remember?
Oh yeah, you're right,
Yeah, yeah. So we'll do a little lube here. And we'll do our clamp. I like to put the clamps in the same position so they look pretty.
I'm the same way.
Bam, slide that in there. Tie this up. Nice and tight. That ain't going nowhere. Tug it. That looks good. Awesome. Make another cut here. Don't cut the finger. Cool.
Honestly, on a difficulty level from 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
Bro, this is like playing with Legos. So if you play with Legos in your lifespan, you could do this. This is very easy.
Yeah.
Most of it, it's all in your head, and you're gonna make mistakes. That's no issue. The good thing is you can always just go back. See, like you'll forget to put this clamp, and then you'll slide this in, and you're like, oh dang! And you just tug it out, put it in there.
Or it's not tight enough. You just got to see a little bit of fuel coming out. Just got to tighten it up.
Yeah, I've never seen that, honestly. But I've seen like, oh, it doesn't work. Now we're gonna have to actually use a 90. Okay, well you undo it and then you do a 90. Now you change your setup.
Okay.
Or, oh, the fuel line is pinching. Yeah, let me use a 90. So, yeah, you might have to do it once or twice just because you don't like the way it looks or the way it sits, but that's it. That, you know, it just takes a few minutes and that's it.
Cool.
So this is what we got so far. Nice and tight. And then basically this is like your factory line. So we're just gonna squeeze that in there.
All right. Let's see. All right, so we're almost done with the fuel portion over here where the flex sensor has to go, or the fuel sensor has to go. Flex fuel sensor, there it is. English is hard. So this clip was holding on to this line and this fuel line. I was able to get it out so I can get more room, get like a little flathead screwdriver, get it onto one side, start shoving it in there, and then this will completely pop off. Super easy to get out, and that will give you more room to move this fuel line around and get the other one out of the way so we can get the sensor in there.
All right, dude, so show us.
Now that the bracket is off that was holding those two fuel lines out, you actually can now get that same fuel line that's connected to the fuel pressure regulator, get it out of there, honestly, to connect it to the sensor. But before that, you can go back to the old clip and actually put it back in there and reuse it.
Yep, because that's what the original fuel line looks like, basically. That's the male side.
Yeah.
So we mimicked that on this side.
And after that, you guys can clearly see it. Just turn these over to that little window, and you hear that clip. Now we're in, and all we got to do now is get this into the other line.
To the factory line.
To the factory line, correct. I can move this around, we'll still be able to show you guys where it's going to sit. But
bear with us. Here, we'll try to get you a good view.
I don't know if you guys can see back there.
I could not, but once...
Yeah, once I clip it in, you'll hear the clip, hopefully.
you get a better idea of what this looks like.
Yeah.
But honestly, like once you see it, and I mean, you probably already got it clicking through your head. It's Legos. It really is. Put a little bit of cojones in there, man.
Oh, I can't see what I'm.
That's the best part. Just close your eyes and feel it. Get in there, man.
I got it. Oh, there. Does it go a certain way?
It's got a clip.
Is there a certain orientation it has to go in?
Is it the same size? Is it the right size?
I don't know.
Is it going in?
I think it is, but it's not going in.
It doesn't lock?
No.
All right, pull it out.
Might be the wrong size.
It might be the wrong size that we put in there.
Okay. Should I get the one that fell?
Wait, you already have one. You left the sample in there from earlier, remember?
Oh, user error. Okay.
See? We all make mistakes.
Okay.
All right, so that was a sample.
So that's what's in here.
Yeah. So you're clipping to that.
No wonder I was like, this ain't gonna work.
All right. And then, yeah, which way are you routing it? Okay, you're going there?
Going through the top, just because the intake's gonna be perfect. Right here, there's this like little bend for it.
Okay.
That's where the cold air intakes are gonna sit.
All right.
And now, we should.
I'll give it the beans.
Oh, still have some technical issues.
Yep, I heard a click.
Yep, that's in.
Click. Tug it, tug it. Nice.
Yeah.
Look how good that looks. The sensors.
That looks
right
OEM,
there.
man.
Yep.
That looks OEM.
Mm-hmm. Nobody would never know.
Nope.
How would they know?
And then that's gonna be connected to your brown thing right here, right?
And if you
we'll run that later.
Hey, if you get it, you get it. Nobody would ever know.
That's
you get
cool.
it?
Yeah.
All right. Because if you don't know it's there,
yeah,
it'll pass.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There's nothing plugged into your OBD. The computer system doesn't know it's there. So basically, if nobody knows it's there,
it's not there.
It's not there. It passes.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. So it actually looks really good.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get a good shot in there.
Yeah, get him a better shot.
Let's see if you guys can see in there. It's back there. There it is. You can kind of see the little shiny. So that's where everything's connected through to the top, to the fuel pressure regulator right here. Intake's gonna be right exactly here. Dude, this is almost OEM.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's not complicated at all.
And all this stuff is all made in Finland. This is all quality stuff, so it matches like OEM. So this is supposed to last the lifetime of the vehicle.
Nice.
It does come with a 5-year warranty, and it is meant to live forever. So we did do a durability test. Check that out on our YouTube. We blow the unit up with a bunch of fireworks. So yeah,
I'll put that on the video description.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
look at the video description. I'll post a link to that video.
That was pretty fun. But that pretty much tells you how durable this stuff is. So it's good stuff.
That's cool. So we're definitely gonna be putting it through its paces and drifting. You guys already know how the track is. The track can be crazy hot, crazy windy. Your dirt dropping. It's all over the place. If this thing can take that beating, it can take the track.
Oh, it'll be good. It's watertight. It's got little rubber insulators and all the connections, just like OEM. So for people that off-road, for people that do drifting, for people that do, I mean, this is by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. So just know it's good stuff.
Heck yeah. So let's continue. Next, I guess it's gonna be running the wiring harness to the injectors.
Yep.
Sweet.
Actually, let's plug that in now.
Okay.
So plug in that ethanol sensor, and then that way you kind of already know where that's gonna go.
That's as simple as.
I'll light you up, and just pick the route that you want it to be living in, basically.
There.
So there it is.
Just clicked in, and then.
Eventually, yeah, you could just tuck it all in.
I'll tuck all this in, and I'll get a zip tie and clean it up later. But
I like to call them safety straps. But zip tie's cool too.
I think I can.
We make it fancier here.
I can run it this way.
We all love those safety straps.
Now that I think about it, I'm probably gonna run it behind it.
Yeah, see, that always happens where you're like, oh, wait a minute, it'll look cleaner through here.
Yeah,
so,
that'll look cleaner right there.
Just go ahead, unplug it, and then choose your way again.
Yep, that'll be cleaner.
Nice.
And then that'll just run in here. Bam.
Make sure it's not chafing anywhere. We'll strap it down later.
I
Cool.
hate chafing.
So, ethanol sensor is already in. You already built the fuel line.
Yeah.
That's done. Now we already built the harness.
And then
That's done.
red one, so this goes to cylinder number 1 because
Yes.
this provides power to the module.
Yep.
I
So
remember.
I'll tell you real quick. Next step right now is to tell me the firing order of this engine. If you already know, great. If not, then all we got to do is Google it.
I'm gonna have to go on YouTube.
So yeah, we'll Google real quick. ChatGPT. What is the firing order for this VQ? And then once we know that, we'll know basically which colors go where, and we'll start routing. All right, cool. So according to his research,
According to Mr. Google here, this here amazing animation of a picture. So that's the front. This is our front. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
okay, perfect. So then we'll know. So it'll be yellow, green, blue, purple, yellow, green.
What he said.
Yeah. So we'll start routing them, and then we'll see where they all go. So that'll be the next step. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, dude. Tell us where you're at right now.
All right, so we got this rat's nest of wiring, and I started tucking it in through the back, started looming it through back here. It's still a bit messy, but I'll pull it together and make it neat later. And then I was able to push it through the bottom on the right side of this wiring harness. It's big enough for the both connectors to go through. So pushed them all through, and then I started lining them up with the firing sequence, which is, of course, now we know it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Based off the colors that were based off the piggy tail back here. So I had to cross-reference that a few times so you guys can see the colors. Starts off in yellow, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then from there, we're gonna connect these straight to the injectors, right?
Correct.
And then
So
I also was able to loom the temperature sensor.
that's in there now.
That's in here now.
So it's just gonna lay there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be next to the block, and it doesn't connect to anything. It's just an ambient temperature sensor for cold starts.
yeah.
So that's gonna lay there. We wanna make sure it doesn't get pinched anywhere. So we laid it in there, and then it's gonna be routed to the back. And then I've connected this side already so far.
I'm gonna start connecting this. So this side goes to the injector, and this goes to the pigtail on the wiring harness, right?
There's only one way. It's just pretty much
So
male to female, female to male.
click, and then is it upside down?
It might be. If it doesn't go in smooth, it's probably wrong. So normally when you got it facing the correct way, it should just go in smooth.
I think it went in.
Nice. All right, so that clicked, and he kind of tugged on it a little bit, and it didn't come out, so that's good. Same thing with this side over here. You tugging on it, and it's not coming out. Okay, cool.
So now,
And then you're gonna kind of want to route it where it's gonna live. So just remember that, because sometimes you don't realize that till after, and then oh crap, now you gotta go disconnect and route it the way you want it. So.
yeah, make sure when you're routing it, when you put back the intake manifold, you're not pinching any wire. So pay attention to where the line is going. Then look back here and look at the footprint that the intake manifold is going to have.
So you got that
one's
one in
done.
there.
So now I'm gonna do this one, and I'm gonna tuck this one in right there.
And in this case, it's not gonna happen, but I will tell you, you don't want to lay your cables here over any coils, LS swaps or anything like that. You could do that, and that's a big mistake, because these coils do emit high frequencies that will interfere with our Bluetooth signal, things like that. So key point, run your wiring harness away from your coils, at least 6 inches away, if possible. Most important, do not lay them right above the coils. Okay. So you got that one in there?
Yeah.
My light died here. Let me grab another light. But oh, that's better. All right, so male to female, female to male.
I'm just trying to think, how are we gonna hide these? Are we just gonna shove them in there?
I tucked them in on the bottom. You see that?
Yeah.
So, I would do the same on that side if I were you.
That. Make sure they're in.
Make sure they click in, because they could not be in, and that'll cause a misfire. So you definitely want to make sure they're clicked in. Tug on it once they're in, and now you know they're in. Also, every now and then, you'll get one of these where you plugged it in, but it's not in the center. It could be like up a little bit, and then when you put it in, it's not going in until you force it, and it's not really in the center, so it'll never fire. So I always like to look at these. Oh shoot, I'm not even looking at the camera, I'm looking at the light. I always like to look at these and basically make sure they're in the middle. They're not too high up or too down low. So very, very important. Always take a peek at this and make sure it's not facing up or down, so that when you're clicking it in, it's not out of position, and that's pretty much like going somewhere else. So
Okay.
key point right there.
That's a good point. So that's my last one.
Last one? Okay. Dude, that's it. You're almost there.
And we started now. Go ahead and turn it on.
Don't tempt me with a good time. See what happens. I think that'll get a lot of views. Let's just crank. So you pretty much got that clicked in. You're gonna tuck in those connectors down low as much as possible.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna run that wire harness down to the back.
A little tricky, but you can definitely do it.
Yeah, just takes a little finessing and then a little back and forth. You may find a better position for it, and you're like, oh, let me disconnect it and then go this way, until you just pretty much have it as nicely tucked in as possible, as safe as possible, as clean as possible.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, looks like we almost got it in there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it took a little finessing, a little back and forth.
There it is.
Decided a couple were routed through the top, a couple were routed through the bottom.
Yeah.
But bam, they're all way in there, nice and safe, out of any harm's way. And all 6 are connected now.
Yep.
Perfect.
We're gonna try to clean up this wiring.
So we're gonna clean that up. And then we're basically just gonna go backwards. We'll put the intake back on. We'll put the cover back on. We'll do a ground. And we should be ready for E85.
Sick.
Yep, that easy, brother. Here's a little tip for you guys that are doing it on this specific engine or Z. We did remove the 12 here on the fuel rail and here. We did not remove the fuel rail. We just simply moved it a little bit to the side.
Yeah, it was enough to like kind of move it to the side and up just enough to put one wire each in at a time to tuck it in underneath the fuel rail. And that just makes it a whole lot cleaner, so when the intake manifold gets back, for sure nothing's gonna be pinching it.
Very nice.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I like.
I have the gas.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
castle.
Yep, so we put the intake back on.
And then from there, you just honestly go through everything that the intake manifold is connected. The VVL pigtail with the plug, check that. The vacuum line that goes to the back, it got connected. This vacuum line got connected to here because that's where we just connected. This got plugged in back. After that, we check marked through the bolts. The one back here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8 with this one. And then I looked around, saw the pigtails for the throttle bodies were disconnected. Connected that.
Put the throttle bodies back on.
Put the throttle bodies back on. Just finished tightening up these bad boys. Next, we have the
Holes there.
intakes.
Well, yeah, we did a couple vacuum lines here at the front.
Oh yeah, vacuum lines in the front
And
too.
now the intakes will go back in.
Along
and
with
then,
this vacuum line that goes to the intake.
Yep.
Like similar to here.
Mm-hmm.
And
And then we're gonna route our wires in a little bit of a better way. Strap
Yeah.
it down. Make sure they do not go over the coils, because the coils are a little closer here.
yeah. Oh, and the ground.
Last but not least, you beat me to it. We're gonna do a ground.
Sweet.
So, yep, we're that much closer.
This is easy.
Yeah.
It's cool. Work, but cool.
All right. So last but not least, ground, right?
Yeah, so for the ground, I was looking everywhere to try to see where would be a good spot to put it, kind of like out of mind, out of sight. Bam. Whatever this is, whatever this controls, they're both relays. You remove one bolt there. After you remove that bolt, you get your ground, you get your bolt, You put it back in.
Should be a solid ground right there.
Yeah, as long as you're touching the chassis, you should be fine.
I used to always recommend the battery post, but you know what? We don't want somebody to change the battery and then break the terminal or not put it back, and then you have issues. So here, nobody really should disconnect that.
Yep.
Our light's dying, but we're almost done, so that's okay.
That's it.
Look at that. Look how pretty that looks. Can you see it? Not really.
That's
but
sick.
what you do see is pretty. And now you can still, like I said, safety strap the loom together. You could wrap it with some heat shrink. You could do some of this electrical tape. You can make it really nice and pretty tucked in. And then connect our control unit over there. And we're pretty much done, bro.
That's sick.
Yeah, E85 ready.
Let's go fill her up, bud.
Well, first we gotta start it.
Oh, that's true.
Dude, I already see you got the cover on. You're already like putting on the sway bar. I'm like, dude, come on. Like, you gotta try it first. Or are you that confident in yourself?
You make me confident.
All right, good.
So yeah, this is the last bit of the puzzle, guys. We have our EFlex Pro module that's going to connect like this. And now we're officially done.
Nice.
Cool thing about the EFlex Pro module that Yasmin's now going to tell you the difference between the Pro module and then the regular module.
All right, cool. So basically the main difference is on the Pro module, you can do tuning. You have an extra program. So if you do need to do fine tuning because you got boost, you got a little bit of NOS or anything else that you could use extra tuning for, you could really get precise in there. So that's how cool that system is. The Plus works great, don't get me wrong. You're gonna get, I mean, almost all the power you can get out of it, but with the Pro, you could just do that much more. So those are the main differences, really.
That's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Can't wait. So let's go ahead and start her up and let's make sure we do this correctly.
Cool. I mean, we pretty much safety checked everything. Covers are back on, hoses are back on, clamps are tight, fuel line's nice and tight. So give it the beans.
Ready?
Yeah, maybe you want to prime it a little bit, just because we did disconnect fuel line.
All right.
All right.
All right, can start her up.
Start her up. Woo! That sounds smooth. No misfire. Start it right up. Oh, dude. She's ready.
Yeah. Don't mind that engine light. That was already there prior.
That was already there. Okay.
That's already there. That's something else.
Looks like you came in very low on fuel.
Yeah.
So that tells me.
What kind of fuel do you recommend?
Come on now. Let's go get that E, baby.
Let's go.
All right. All right, cool. Next, I'm going to have you download the EFlex app.
EFlex app.
Yep. Should pop right up. Go ahead, download that. That way when we start
EFlex
it up,
app right there.
that's the one.
And that works for both Android and iPhone?
Yep, that's definitely works for both.
Cool.
So just go ahead and download that, and we'll start it back up. We'll go get some E, and let's see what kind of shenanigans we get into.
All right, let's start her up. Downloading. It needs to be started in order for it to read it?
Yeah, at least ignition.
Okay, okay. Open her up.
Yes, when it asks you to give it permission right there. At the bottom, it'll say auto connect.
Is it going to be that one?
Nope, it'll say EFlex. So for now, go to your Bluetooth settings. It's always a little tough the first time, but once it recognizes it, it's good. See all. Go ahead, start the car. Alright, pop right up. Click that. And right there you want to say pair and then always allow. I think it had a little toggle switch we missed. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Alright. Might have to do it again, but for now, just try to hook up to it. There you go. Well, you are good.
Nice.
So your 3% duty cycle. You already have 9% ethanol content in your regular fuel. You got nice temperature there. You're set to economy mode right now, so you can always just switch that by holding it down, and then give it the beans there. Yeah.
It's gonna stay and live there.
There you go. Exit out. Top. There you go.
Cool.
Cool. Give it a little bit of rev so you can see that RPM. Ooh, that sounds good. Perfect. All right, let's go get that E, baby.
Nice. Tap door here. It says premium unleaded fuel only. Super Sans Plum Swil Mont. Yeah, no.
Not anymore, baby. Let them know. Let them know.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we've been saying this, but now let's go.
Now let's go put some E in it.
Let's go.
All right, so now we're really on our way to go get the E. He's bringing his LS or his GS. GS.
This is a cold start for you guys. It's probably been like 3 weeks now. We'll take this one.
Is it also an E?
It is on it, yes.
Go for it. Dude, that sounds nice.
Thank you.
Go for it.
All right, well, this one's been sitting like I said, but yeah, no worries. I don't mind it whenever it sits. I have no issues. She stays up there, baby.
80% E right now.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Let's go put some E now, finally.
Like take 4. Right now, we'll see what that mixture is gonna be. What's your guess?
You're probably gonna be like E65, E70.
Okay, when would
Yeah.
I go to the full 85 once I burn everything out?
Whatever
Or do you
the
ever
fuel
get-
lines. Yeah. You go to E80 for sure. You saw mine. E80.
Anything higher than E85?
Very rarely.
Or what happens if I mix race gas, like 110, with E85?
It'll go up. The content will go up. It'll read it too. Oh, I heard a click.
I just filled up with 43 bucks.
Is that not common?
Not common at all.
Okay.
It takes 80 to 90.
Oh my God. That's sick. Woo.
So this thing's ready to hit the track.
Okay.
Now with a little bit more power.
There you go. We're gonna try to go to Mexico real quick.
I like Mexico.
Yeah. I think we got the shot.
So we're back from Mexico. It was a good trip. Not a lot of traffic. It was
Not a
good.
lot of traffic at
Not
all.
a lot of traffic at all. It's not that bad like people say it is, but it was good. Right off the bat, honestly, I can feel definitely like a better throttle response out of the car. Like she has a more giddy up, and I kept playing with it. I kept having fun. He kept trying to shoot rollers, and I was not letting him because I just kept giving it gas. It's fun. It's fun. Like, it's there. I can definitely feel the difference. My butt dyno is saying at a minimum 30 horsepower.
Okay.
At a minimum.
I mean, you can feel the throttle response, like you said. It just wants more. So
yeah.
Are you gonna give it to it?
Oh, she definitely wants more. She's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. We're thinking I might be like at 70% ethanol right now, but we can't see it due to, we're thinking we didn't put the ground in the correct area for it to get a good ground connection. So once I get home, I'll fix that. I might add it to this video. If not, it'll be another video. We'll see. Keep watching. But had a blast. Thanks, Yasmin.
Hey, you're welcome, man.
Thanks, EFlex.
Oh yeah.
Part of the E85 family now. So make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys follow. You make sure you guys comment. Start looking at their websites where you can see all their products for all the current cars. And be a lot more future cars.
This is all you need. You see how long it took? And we did it filming. We installed it, just 2 of us, simple hand tools. One day, we already filled up a whole full tank of E, and we went to go play.
Filled it up with 40 bucks. That's awesome.
How cool is that?
That's dope. That's dope.
I think it's a no-brainer, right?
It's a no-brainer.
Best bang for buck mock.
Best bang for your buck mock that I've ever done on the Z.
EFlexFuel.com. Peace.